Oh, the places I'll go. Here we are again. Looking at your XHTMLD file, this looks good. I again previewed it. Now what I want you to notice is that look at one of the differences between the home page and the other pages. See how the font is different across the top, and so it looks like it jumps a little bit. I would say even on the home page that you should introduce a standard, the same one that you used on all the other different pages. And another thing, look at the difference between the milk and the meat. See this little jumping action? Looks like there's a little more space up here above your header. So I just noticed that as I was clicking through earlier. So small issues that you'll want to fix. Looks like you did create image maps. That's great. And as long as they work, that's fine. Perfect. And it looks like on all these tabs you can see easily that you did put a title in. So great. Everything looks good. See, I'm on your breads pages. You've got your divisions that you've styled. Looks like you've done a styling for the horizontal rule. Here's an image. Good. Points out to Wikipedia. Okay. So this looks nice. So it looks like you did a good job of creating one page and then made several copies of it. Let's see how it validates. Okay, 6 errors. Let's see what those are. Okay, so you've introduced a break somewhere, and it says it's on line 67. So the lesson here is that with XHTML 1.0 strict, this break tag needs to be within a paragraph or a division. It needs to be within a block level tag or container, okay? So don't put it outside of the division any longer. And what we'll do later on, coming up very soon, is we'll have the ability to introduce space before and after a division using margins and padding, whichever one is appropriate, and you won't have to use the break tag to do formatting and styling anymore, which is how it looks like you're using it to separate your divisions. Okay, so that's the issue there. Here, the next error is the same way. The next error is the same way. So it looks like that's really the only error that you have here. It's not a big deal at all. So well done there. And I wanted to take a look at your code and see how you styled it. XHTML 1.0 strict, that's good. Style tag within the head. Everything looks good so far. And just as a matter of convention and just because maybe it'll cause us problems later, even, I know that I told you on the last rule here, you don't have to do it, but I would get into the habit of doing it, because what will happen is you'll come down here and you'll add another rule, and you'll forget to put the semicolon on here, so I think it's a good thing to go ahead and add it after everything. And I just noticed that on that one, and it looks like you're doing it everywhere else. Just be very conscious of that. You'll have errors in your code when you try and validate it, when you start validating cascading style sheet code, and you won't be able to figure out what it is sometimes. All right, you've used site relative paths. Fantastic. And it looks like you're making correct use of headers, H2s. There you go. Great, just like the example. And let's see, you are in your divisions. This is great. I'm glad you did this, just like the example I gave you. You're giving IDs that are generic so that when you copy this page, those IDs are generic. You don't have to do extra work renaming them. And okay, one thing that I would like to see, and I might have told you this in your other evaluation, for an image, I would get used to adding an ID in here. So ID equals, and I would say img for image and carrots. Okay? Just that easy. And that'll be important later on when you're trying to identify that image out of a bunch of images that you have on your page so that you can apply JavaScript to it, for example. Okay, so get used to doing that. It looks like you did background color. That's great. Site root relative. You made use of border. Probably font weight and font family. Yep, you got them all. What else? You got your XHTML 1.0 logo. Everything looks good here. I just don't see any corrections that you really need to make. So great job.